YouTube. So we finna watch this video right here talking about jobs. Wake the F up. Stop being a sheep. Comment down below what y'all think. Hit that like button if you get some value. Appreciate y'all time. Let's get to it.
You do not need a 9-to-5 job to pay your bills. You need money. You need income. But the problem for most people is that they have no creativity because the suppression through your early ages, going through school, college, university, and then into the workplace, has got rid of all of your outside the box thinking.
Woo! Bless you. Thank you.
And you just follow everyone else like a wage slave, like sheep. So look, trigger warning, this video is definitely not for those who cannot understand what I'm saying, or at least explore and be open-minded to the fact that you do not need a job. I mean, that's the truth, you don't. You need to learn sales, you need independence, you need to be in thrive mode, not survive. But anyway, we're gonna get into that.
Right, he not talking about staying in survival mode. A lot of us, when we're in survival mode, we think a job is our heaven. You know what I'm saying? You think 40 hours a week is gonna get you, to the promised land, and it's not. It's gonna get you old and wrinkly. You know what I'm saying? With under 6 figures. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Basically, you need to stop being an NPC, but most people around the world are NPCs. They follow the herd, right? So look, you need income, you need to make money, you don't need a job. But here's the truth. Most of society as a whole, they go through the education system, they get told that they need a job, they go into a job interview, the suppression increases where you're told, you need to do this task and it's going to be this amount of hours a week and you'll get paid this amount, and you're told. Nothing's discussed. There's no fair exchange for the time that you're going to give away. The time that you will never get back, you are told what you are going to do. Everything about a job is assigned to you. So you stop thinking for yourself. You lose all independence and you become dependent. And there's a great quote: a man that does not own his time will never be free. So it's never about
that's a no right there.
how much money you make. But the corporate world wants you to think it is about the amount of money that you make. The higher you climb throughout the corporate ladder, the bigger the title, the badge of honor on LinkedIn, allowing you to change your job title and description. I'm now general manager, regional manager, executive assistant, director. Okay, you think that is what we should be celebrating. And what's really backwards is if someone does step outside the norm, outside of a job, to be creative, to think for themselves, to start innovating, bring in their own money, people point and judge. Oh, you're starting a business. Oh, I wouldn't do that. That's risky. Which leads me on to my next point. Never take advice from someone that isn't doing or has done what you want to do.
I say this all the time. This fella got some game right here. I like him. Hit that like button, that sub. In other words, if somebody in McDonald's, they shouldn't be telling you to work in McDonald's. That's just an analogy.
Because here's the thing about a 9-to-5 job. It is rewiring your belief system. Because if you disagree with me right now, it's not even that you have a different thought process to me. I'm actually challenging probably your parents' beliefs, which have been instilled in you. Or I'm challenging right now your social circle, because people are so easily influenced and they don't think for themselves, which is why we have 99% employees around the world and you only have 1% which are the entrepreneurs. Because people are easily influenced, which is not a good thing, by the way. People think that you need a mortgage. People think that you should be grateful and, it's a privilege to have a job. In fact, Mac, can you just pop up a screen cap here of someone who said to me in the comments section, have a read of this.
This is why more and more companies will replace you with AI. Attitude like this is bad. I really dislike people who lack integrity. Having a job is not a right privilege. If you have ever suffered unemployment and God answer your prayer, you know what I mean.
It's a privilege to have a job. Have a read of that. How brainwashed is that individual? I mean, that is mad. Could you imagine being grateful for giving away your time for an unfair exchange of pay? You're not valued. You are replaceable in a heartbeat, but yet you're still grateful for a job.
Right. HR doesn't care about you. They're just gonna jot it down with all the other complaints, and if it's too many complaints, replace you. Yes. Talking about, bro. Comment down below, and yeah, y'all go sub up.
In fact, take a look, right? Have a look at some of the pop-ups on the screen now with different comments. We've got some really good ones.
I go above and beyond for myself, and as I thank you to the company for giving me the opportunity to better my life.
Ones where people have woken up, where some of my content has inspired people. This lady has gone on to build her business and she's getting out of her job, and we've got some other people here who believe that having a job is great. And then we've got someone else who you'll also see on screen who has said the only thing hard work and working for someone else has got them is a broken body. And that's the God's honest truth, right? Is that most people are in this horrific survival mode. Look at what happened.
What I just said at the beginning of the video, ladies and gentlemen. And we just caught another angel number, 444.
During, I'll say, Cucumber 19. Do you remember that god-awful time during 2020, right? And the world shut down? What did people do? They went into survival mode. Everyone stopped thinking for themselves and they just listened to everything on the news. Go get your jabs, do this, put on a mask, don't do that, you can't go out. And 99% of people did exactly as they were told because they're in survival mode. And that is what's so, to me, so shocking and scary, because I carried on as normal, by the way. I still went out, I still went to the gym. I didn't get any of the jabs, by the way. You know, I'm sure I'm going to trigger some people by talking about that, but I didn't. You know, I'm pure, I'm clean in my opinion.
I think something that helped a lot of people out as well, maybe being antisocial, you know, because I was already antisocial before the pandemic. But that's just my theory. What y'all think?
Because I thought for myself, you know, I looked, I'm healthy. You know, I'm looking around me, everything was still okay. Like I'm aware that the news is total propaganda, so I didn't conform. You know, you don't need a big mortgage. You don't need to have the house, the dog, the family early. Life can be designed exactly how you want it, but you have to, you know, realize this. You don't have to have an entire life assigned to you. So now let me talk about working smart, not physically hard. Okay, just like you don't need a job, you don't need to work physically hard to get home at the end of the day and go, yeah, I earned my keep. Now, the baby boomers and potentially your parents and the older generation, if you're not getting calluses on your hands from, you know, laying bricks and digging holes.
Yeah, they're going to say you're not working hard.
And doing whatever in the trades or whatever, right? And you're not working hard. There are people out there, a majority, who will say, well, you're lazy. You know, I've been called lazy many times because of my content, especially on my short form. I'm not lazy at all. I'm one of the hardest workers in the room in terms of being smart, working for myself, making big calculated moves, you know, moving my progression needle for.
In my opinion, I think working hard is delegating your time. You know what I'm saying? Like really using every second to go forward. You feel me?
Myself, you know, my work ethic is unmatched. But what I do have, and what I would like all of you to have, is more self-respect and more, you know, understanding your boundaries and your values and your standards which you adhere to, right? But again, to normal people in the workplace, if you work smart and you think for yourself and you don't conform to normal ways, you're considered and branded lazy. And that is just not the case. You know, in my last job, I was considered, to myself really, and a few others, I was the smartest laziest worker, because I still got everything done. I outsourced, I did things in a, an efficient time. But if you don't physically work hard and you don't sweat,
people don't respect it. I said I made a whole nother video on my other YouTube channel basically saying how people base you off jobs and cars. Job or you don't have a car, a lot of people judge you. Average people judge you off those two things, a job and a car.
to some people, you are just lazy. But those people are the ones that will remain in a job. So look, going back to be careful who you take advice from, this is really important, because if you keep listening to people who have no aspirations, who have no drive, who do not think for themselves, and you take their word, you are going to end up a wage slave until the day that you visit Jesus. That's the God's honest truth. You have to be very, very mindful of people who put you off exploring doing something for yourself. Because again, you don't need a job. You need to take calculated risks, learn marketing, learn sales. What excuses are there anymore to not building something for yourself? You have to manage your money correctly. Like, you've really got to get your money in order. You have to stop keeping up with the Joneses. And when you break bad societal habits, and then you start building things for yourself, and you start trying, and you fail, and then you get back up again and you try something new, and you build a product or a service and you try and sell it. You make a little bit of money, and then you have a little light bulb moment thinking, oh my God, I've just made myself some money from just creativity. Then you start to realize, well, hang on a minute, I probably don't need a job. And really, do I need as much money as my job's paying me? Do I overspend? And you have these light bulb moments. And I say it again, you don't need a job. You need income.
Y'all comment down below what y'all think, man. I like the video. Y'all just know I'm on the roll now. I'm on the roll. But yeah, I respect what he's saying. Comment down below what y'all think, ladies and gentlemen. I agree with what he's saying. I've been on both sides of the field. When you got a job, your money capped. When you don't got a job, it's you have more drive. You can get more money, but you also have more drive, in my opinion. And also, whether you probably know it or not, you're probably making more money without a job. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, we get a job for a split moment, just to get a couple of things ahead, or some, pay some bills real quick. But once that's caught up, you know what I'm saying? You in the green. Comment down below what y'all think. See y'all in the next video. Appreciate y'all time.